A mystery unravels on the tracks in the center of Asia, woven through the fabric of covert luxury and global diplomacy. There is a train at the start of our story, but it's no typical locomotive. This is the story of Kim Jong Un, the supreme leader of North Korea, and his armored train, a moving fortress of power unmatched by any other on Earth that is veiled in luxury and mystery. Though he is frequently shrouded in mystery, Kim Jong Un is a man of contradictions as well as a powerful national leader. His dominion, which is characterized by both terror and awe, is limited to the borders of a nation that is a symbol of isolation, but is unavoidable on the international scene. Under Kim's direction, North Korea puts up a show of unbreakable might, with its politics firmly based on the ideas of jusha, self-reliance, and independence. Beneath this exterior, however, is a guy who enjoys living large and a tyrant who has taste in finer things in life. His collection of toys rivals that of any contemporary millionaire. We are going on a trip that goes beyond simple travel as we explore this story. The Tango, Kim Jong Un's train, is a technical wonder and a declaration of unwavering strength. It carries the weight of its own legend as it rolls around the countryside as his haven, headquarters, and emblem of his authority. Within steel walls that have seen the passage of time, this train holds not only a man, but also the hopes and anxieties of a nation. Set against the backdrop of a country that continues to be mysterious to the outside world, this story delves deeper than a simple power struggle, and instead examines inconsistencies and contrasts. So come with me as we go together through the train that represents the unmatched rule of North Korea's supreme leader into the country's center of light and darkness. The steel chariot of power. A steel monster stirs as dawn breaks over Pyongyang, poised to plow into North Korea. This train is not your typical one. It's called the Tango, an armored fortress on tracks that reflects Kim Jong Un's complicated personality. Kim's rule is embodied in its reinforced carriages, which house the core of North Korean leadership. It is a combination of overt power and covert luxury. More than just a matter of luxury, Kim Jong Un's inclination for rail travel is a calculated decision that is firmly anchored in the tradition of his forebears. 3 generations of the Kim dynasty have always had an unusual fondness for trains. The father of Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong-il, and the country's founder, Kim Il-sung, both made great use of trains for both domestic and foreign travel. However, the Tango has taken on a much greater significance under Kim Jong-un. It is now a mobile command center. Kim is able to rule from any location. It's maybe the safest transportable place on Earth because its carriages are built to withstand attacks. The train's luxurious interiors make it seem like a palace on wheels, and finds comfort in the steady clatter of wheels on tracks. Kim travels by rail with a degree of stealth and careful planning. Advanced squads scout and secure routes, and occasionally a fake train precedes the leader's carriage as a precaution against any threats. This degree of caution highlights the ongoing tension that permeates every facet of Kim Jong-un's leadership and characterizes North Korea's interaction with the outside world. But the Tango is a political tool as much as a mode of transportation. As he travels the nation, Kim Jong-un presents himself as approachable and considerate of the people of North Korea. Opulence amidst isolation. The universe enclosed by Kim Jong-un's armored train is a world far off from the harsh reality of life in North Korea. The Tango, a representation of unwavering wealth and power, transports its lone passenger across a country where the typical person may never imagine such grandeur. This chapter explores the striking contrast between the opulent lifestyle of the Supreme Commander and the widespread austerity that his people had to endure. It's no secret that Kim Jong-un loves to live in luxury. His preferences are similar to those of the wealthiest people in the planet. His collection covers the spectrum of luxury that money can buy, from vintage wines to rare cars. Among these belongings, the Tango is particularly noteworthy, not only for its sheer size but also for what it stands for. The ultimate haven, a transportable haven where the leader can indulge his vices out of sight from the general public. The interiors of the train are reportedly as luxurious as a 5-star hotel, complete with luxurious furnishings and cutting-edge services. Each carriage has been painstakingly created with Kim's protection and comfort in mind. It comes with opulent dining rooms, gourmet kitchens, and comfortable sleeping areas. This is where there is the biggest contrast with the grim reality of North Korea. While Kim eats lobster and caviar for dinner, a large section of his nation suffers from food insecurity and financial difficulty. But there's more to this extravagance than meets the eye. It serves as a diplomatic tool, a mobile platform on which Kim Jong-un can receive foreign dignitaries and carry out official business with the fanfare and ceremony appropriate for his rank. The ideological tracks. Under the opulent exterior of Kim Jong-un's armored train, North Korea's ideological engine silently hums, leading the country along a route marked out by juche. This ideology, which combines fierce nationalism with self-reliance, serves as the cornerstone of Kim's rule. It influences every facet of North Korean life, including its closed economy and attitude toward the international community. This chapter explores how Juche shapes the nation's policies and relations with the outside world as it digs into the ideological foundations of Kim Jong Un's rule. Juche was first launched by Kim Jong Un's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, and has developed under every leader since then, according to the difficulties and shifting dynamics of the contemporary world. Juche is more than simply a political theory to Kim Jong Un. It is a weapon of governance, a way to bolster his authority and give his rule legitimacy. Juche's central idea of self-reliance is demonstrated by North Korea's unrelenting pursuit of nuclear and military might, which is seen as necessary for maintaining the country's survival and sovereignty. In its cross-border travels, Kim's armored train represents this balance between engagement and seclusion that defines North Korean diplomacy. It is a moving example of Juche promoting independence while attempting to establish ties with strong allies like China and Russia. These connections, which have been painstakingly built through diplomatic meetings and covert summits, are essential to North Korea's plan for managing world affairs without sacrificing its independence. The train's excursions also illustrate how North Korea engages with the world in a dual manner, seeking both diplomatic and economic backing without surrendering its ideological underpinnings. Kim Jong Un's efforts to strike a compromise between the ideals of Juche and the realities of global governance, but the realities of Juche's execution highlight the difficulties in maintaining such a solitary position. The country's hermetic policies and international sanctions have made economic woes worse, which stands in stark contrast to Kim's lavish lifestyle and his armored train, which is a technological marvel. A nuclear legacy on rails. There is a deeper, more resonant echo in the silent clatter of the Tango traveling across the Korean terrain, which is evidence of North Korea's unrelenting pursuit of nuclear supremacy. This chapter examines the crucial role that Kim Jong Un's regime's nuclear ambition plays in propelling the country onto the world scene, defying international conventions and asserting its sovereignty in spite of strong criticism. The legacy of nuclear development that Kim Jong Un inherited has grown to be a pillar of his government. Under his direction, North Korea has not only maintained but further accelerated its nuclear program and attracted attention from around the world, which emphasizes military self-sufficiency and independence. In Kim's view, nuclear weapons are not just instruments of aggression, but also symbols of power and deterrent that are necessary for his dictatorship to survive in the face of alleged outside threats. Kim uses a sophisticated dance of brinkmanship and compromise when it comes to nuclear diplomacy. Whether on the Tango or at international summits, his interactions with foreign leaders show a calculated strategy to use North Korea's nuclear weapons to gain concessions on security and economy. These exchanges, which are tinged with the anxiety of high-stakes diplomacy, highlight how crucial nuclear weapons are to Kim's conception of his nation's standing in the world. Sanctions and the art of survival. Targeting its nuclear program and the high-end items that represent the regime's elite, the United Nations, the United States, and other international powers have imposed sanctions on North Korea in an effort to isolate it economically and diplomatically. However, North Korea has shown incredible fortitude under Kim Jong Un's direction, using a range of tactics to lessen the effects of these sanctions. The Tango's unwavering advancement reflects the regime's capacity to adjust and move on in the face of hardship. Kim Jong Un has become an expert at surviving in a sanctioned world, using the nation's meager resources to further his geopolitical goals and maintain his authority. North Korea maintains its international trade, obtaining the high-end commodities that line the Tango's carriages and finance Kim's lavish lifestyle through covert networks and cunning avoidance strategies. These initiatives represent a declaration of resistance and autonomy, as well as a refusal to give in to external pressure. They are not just acts of indulgence. The diplomatic rails. With the dexterity of an experienced conductor, Kim Jong Un's North Korea navigates the diplomatic tracks in the shadow of sanctions and the need to survive. This chapter explores how diplomacy can be used strategically as a lifeline, reaching beyond the walls of the Hermit Kingdom and into the halls of power in Moscow, Beijing, and other places. More than just a mode of transportation, the Tango comes to represent North Korea's diplomatic efforts as it navigates the international scene with a combination of pragmatic participation and isolationist pride. Taking over from his father's defiant legacy, Kim Jong Un has worked to raise North Korea's diplomatic profile by holding direct talks with international leaders in an attempt to gain political and economic legitimacy. In addition to being symbolic actions, the train trips to China and Russia represent turning points in North Korea's diplomatic history and demonstrate Kim's ability to use his country's reputation as an outsider to gain a place at the table with major nations. These diplomatic endeavors, which are frequently started on the armored train, demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of international relations. Kim's summits with Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping accomplish several goals. They give a counterbalance to the pressure from Western countries, highlight North Korea's strategic significance in regional geopolitics, and serve as a forum for negotiations on relief from economic sanctions. And with that, we finished our explore at Kim Jong Un's $1 billion train loaded with weapon. Please like and subscribe to support our channel. Thank you for watching till the end.